I am Reed, just a normal 27-year-old guy talking about building wealth and getting your life together in your 20s. Hey everyone, so tonight I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind a lot lately as I've been trying to get a better handle on my finances and really build a solid future for myself. We all think about career paths and how we want to progress in life, don't we? I don't really have a script for this, so please bear with me if I wander off a bit, but it is all centered around this idea of why we do what we do when it comes to money, right? When you are diving into personal finance, trying to make a good living, and striving for success. The first question, even before you start budgeting or cutting expenses, should be about your goal. Why are you doing this? What is the ultimate destination? What will you do when you get there? IV noticed something interesting. As IV sifted through a lot of financial content online, especially on YouTube, there seemed to be two distinct groups of people. On one side, you have those who appear incredibly relaxed, genuinely content. They don't flaunt their wealth. There are no flashy cars or watches shoved in your face, no constant, look at me mentality. Instead, their message is more like, hey, I am building financial freedom. I am securing a future for my family, for my children. They radiate a sense of peace. They are in a financial position where they can pursue their passions and they seem truly happy. Those are the people I genuinely admire and look up to. Then there is the other side of the coin, the creators who say, you should listen to my financial advice because I made X amount of money this year. They showcase their collection of luxury cars, their expensive watches, their penthouses and grand houses, implying I am richer than you. So just listen. I've observed that a lot of people in my age group, roughly 18 to 30, tend to gravitate towards the latter. I have friends who are absolutely driven to be rich, to become millionaires, and I try to be the one who keeps a level head in those conversations. I ask them, that is fantastic, your goals are ambitious, but why do you want to be a millionaire? Why do you want to be rich? And often the answer boils down to, if I am rich, I can buy this watch, this house, this car. It makes me wonder, does that really bring lasting happiness? I think I am making this video partly to share my own internal reflections. Thoughts I had when I was younger. I am 27 now, and IV certainly evolved from where I thought money would take me when I was 20 to 23. I genuinely believe that material possessions, while enjoyable, aren't the ultimate source of happiness. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not saying you shouldn't desire nice things. I think material things can be amazing. For example, my parents actually jokingly call me 5-star because I genuinely appreciate 5-star experiences. I love fine dining, I admire well-crafted watches, I am a car enthusiast, and I appreciate beautiful real estate, so I completely understand the desire for quality possessions. But the older I get and the more I mature, both mentally and emotionally, the more I realize that those things alone aren't what will truly make me happy. They might make someone else happy, but for me, it is different. It is like that age-old debate. Does money buy happiness? I think money buys experiences, and I believe experiences can indeed contribute to happiness. But I don't think money in itself directly purchases happiness. It can certainly pave the way to a happier lifestyle or a more comfortable place in life. But it is not the happiness itself. Let me share a story, something that happened quite recently. Perhaps 6 months to a year ago, I've been working remotely for a while and I found myself with some free time. So I reached out to a friend. He is an automotive detailer, and let me tell you, he is legitimately incredible. I've never seen anyone clean cars with such skill and precision. You know how car dealerships often have their own detailing bays, and they tend to scratch cars and do a subpar job. Well, my friend, he had contracts with high-end dealerships to work on their truly exceptional vehicles. We were talking Porsche, McLaren, Ferrari. These were serious contracts. So I called him up one day and said, dude, I love cars. Sign me up if you need an extra hand, I am there, he responded. Bro, meet me tomorrow, we were going to start cleaning cars, I'll hire you. It was for a modest amount of money, but it was extra income I could earn on the side. So I showed up to this undisclosed location and there were about 10 McLarens. I was beyond excited. I was filming each one I cleaned, savoring the experience of sitting in them, taking photos, everything. I remember thinking, this is incredible. My absolute dream car, my ultimate dream car is a 911 GT3 RS. I don't care if it is the 991.2 or the 992.1. I just want a 911 GT3 RS. That is my automotive dream, and he also had a contract with Porsche, so we drove to his facility near the Porsche dealership, and we were cleaning 911 GT3 RSS, Porsche Boxster Spyder RSS, brand new cars, absolutely loaded with every conceivable option. These were truly insane vehicles. For the first week I was there, I thought, this is amazing. I am cleaning my dream cars, all these exotic machines, it is the best thing ever. But after about the 20th McLaren, honestly, it just became a car. At the end of the day, it was literally just a car. What is even crazier is that after about 3 weeks of working with him, I couldn't even be bothered to pull out my phone anymore. I just think, oh, it is another McLaren, or it is just a McLaren Senna. We even detailed Jeffree Star's McLaren Senna, the one with the Tiffany blue interior and Tiffany blue brakes on the black exterior. I cleaned that car. There was a 765 LT McLaren that was completely exposed blue carbon fiber. I worked on a few McLaren Speedtails, truly wild cars, and after 3 weeks of being surrounded by those vehicles, you just start to think, okay, it is just another car. You lose that emotional connection, you lose all that excitement, and you realize, man, this is literally just a car, just like a Toyota Camry is a car. And what is truly astonishing, I remember cleaning one particular McLaren. It was the dealership S-Parts runner car, used to move components between dealerships. It was a 2020 720s with 8,000 miles on it. And this car, the leather was falling apart. The Alcantara was trashed, the paint was scratched up. Sure, you could argue it was a utility vehicle, but with only 8,000 miles, if you had a Toyota Camry with 8,000 miles, it would be practically brand new. You could eat off the seats, but this McLaren with 8,000 miles looked like it was on its last legs. And you start to think, bro, this car's worth more than my house, and it is falling apart after 8,000 miles. Now, don't get me wrong, if you are a car enthusiast like me, you definitely see the inherent value. But it reached a point where after the 30th McLaren I washed in a week, you just think, it is just a McLaren. I don't know how else to explain it, but you almost lose that sense of wonder. I know myself, and don't misunderstand. I still want to work hard enough to afford my 911 GT3 RS someday, but I am being realistic with you all. I will buy a 911, I will get my dream car, and I'll probably drive it hard for about a week. And then after that week, it will likely sit in my garage, and I'll think to myself, this doesn't make me as happy as I thought anymore. Because, for example, I once owned a BMW, a 2017 340i, which I modified with a big turbo and air suspension. It was fully built. And once that car was completely done, I found myself thinking, okay, what is next? After I sold it, I bought a Tesla Model 3 Performance because I wanted something incredibly fast off the line. But after about 20 launch controls, I thought, okay, what is next? You reach a point where you are constantly chasing something when you prioritize material value above everything else. You are always pursuing the next car, the next watch. I feel like many people who place material possessions at the pinnacle of their priorities are, more often than not, sadder and more depressed than those who don't. I am not saying everyone, but it is striking to see so many millionaires who are clearly unhappy. They perpetually chasing the next big thing. It is never enough. They buy the $60,000 watch and the $500,000 car. But they lost touch with what money truly means and what it can genuinely do for them. They simply trying to project an image of wealth and success. And in doing so, they lose that authentic value, always just chasing the next item. We see it constantly with millionaires, Hollywood celebrities, and superstar athletes. These individuals often struggle with depression, and you wonder, how can these millionaires be depressed? It is because they reprioritizing the wrong things. They not building their foundation on what truly brings them happiness. Instead, they rebuilding it on materialistic items, and that is not a sustainable foundation. For example, many people believe that materialistic things will fix their emotional struggles, but once you acquire that desired pair of shoes, or that dream car, or that specific look, you think, I am going to feel confident, I am going to feel successful. But the high, it usually lasts about 24 hours, and then you are back to thinking, okay, what is the next thing I can get? I've simply come to realize that many of those materialistic things are just placeholders. They fill a void, but they don't provide any lasting value. So I don't know. It is just something I've been thinking about a lot. To pivot slightly, what truly makes you feel good? What will bring you happiness through financial freedom? It is not acquiring all the fancy cars or the expensive clothes. It is having the financial freedom to genuinely live life on your own terms, to be stress-free. This world is often filled with stress, anxiety, and fear-mongering, and for me, the reason I aspire to be financially stable is to provide for the people I love and to live a life free from unnecessary worry. Personally, I find a lot of value in becoming stronger, whether that is physically, mentally, or emotionally. I enjoy solving problems, and I genuinely enjoy working for the company I am with. They appreciate my contributions, they value the work I do, and they constantly challenge me with new projects. I find a lot of joy in that makes me happy. Traveling is also a source of enjoyment. I love exploring new places and creating new experiences, but even something as simple as sitting in my backyard, I love sitting under the sun by the pool, just relaxing. I don't need extravagant things to make me happy. My family makes me happy. I hope to have a family of my own someday and be able to provide for them. I feel like at a certain point in life, for most people, you come to a crossroads. You realize that life isn't truly about material achievements. And again, I am not disparaging anyone who has material success. I definitely want to own a house one day, and I still aspire to own a Porsche, a nice car, and a beautiful watch. But those aren't my primary motivators, and that is not the core reason I am embarking on this financial journey, in a way. I am making this video to hold myself accountable. So, you reach these two paths. You either realize that life isn't about accumulating material possessions, or you remain on the path of believing you haven't proven your worth until you acquire all the materialistic things you desire. And I truly believe one path will lead to significantly more happiness than the other. If you choose the path I've come to embrace, where you understand that life isn't about stacking material wins, you start learning that it is about stacking internal wins. It is about setting meaningful goals for yourself, goals that you can achieve and that make you feel genuinely good. It is about pushing yourself to become a better person, striving to be 1% better every single day, even when no one is watching. Even when you are by yourself, just focusing on personal growth. When 2025 began, I wrote down a bunch of goals and taped them to my door. Maybe I'll share a picture of them sometime, but I put them there so that every time I walk out of my door, I see those goals. So it is one of those things where I've been consistently asking myself why I am on this financial journey. And I don't know if any of you can relate. I have many friends my age who I talk to, and they all aspire to be crypto millionaires overnight or successful entrepreneurs, and that is wonderful. I am not criticizing anyone's ambitions. But as I said, I'll ask them, hey, why do you want to do that? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is always, so I can buy this car, or I want this watch. I want this iced out AP. I want all this fame. I want people to know who I am. I am not the kind of friend who is a killjoy telling them, bro, you shouldn't be focusing on that. I encourage my friends to pursue their desires, but deep down I know that even if they achieve those things, it won't necessarily bring them lasting happiness. I don't know if many of you share this perspective. But while materialistic things might provide a fleeting moment of happiness, a minute or two, I feel they don't contribute to long-term fulfillment. I believe true, lasting happiness stems from internal sources, from the things you can control within your own mind. And as I mentioned, the people I see online who genuinely have control over their finances, who are truly financially free, and who live modestly, often with a family, those are the individuals who just look happy. You can tell they not stressed. They reliving life day by day, enjoying their time. Then you see others who exclaim, oh, I just bought this brand new house, but then they burdened with a $10,000 mortgage, or I have this $500,000 car, but I can afford the tires. Yet they justify it by saying, but it is okay because I just bought this $60,000 wristwatch, and in the next week I'll probably get tired of it, so I'll buy a $70,000 wristwatch to impress people online. It just becomes a stale cycle. I feel like this age group is somewhat plagued by people who constantly want to show off everything, who want to use their money to impress others, especially with social media, which is a whole other topic I want to dive into right now. But it creates this environment where people are always flexing on each other, and then others watch these videos online and think, that is how I am going to find happiness. But you only see a 10-minute snippet of their life, a 10-minute video of them buying a supercar or a new watch. You don't see the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of their day. And often you hear about these individuals being chronically depressed, struggling with drug and alcohol addictions or gambling problems, and you wonder why. You think, well, you are a multi-millionaire, wealthier than anyone could imagine, but you have all these internal issues. And the answer is, money doesn't solve internal problems. It can buy you a lot of materialistic things to put band-aids on those issues, but ultimately, money itself won't make you truly happy. I think if you are embarking on this financial journey, whether you are young or a bit older, having a clear goal is one of the best things you can do for yourself. But I also want people to be self-aware about their goals, really sit down and honestly assess if your goal, if you know yourself well enough, is to say, look, I need that $60,000 watch to make me happy, paired with that $500,000 car to make me happy, paired with that $10 million house to make me happy, then go for it. I am not here to tell you not to think that way. I am just here to tell people, or perhaps to warn them, especially in my age group, to truly sit down with yourself and understand your motivation.